Hello, everyone, and welcome in. Welcome to another Astrology Saturday with your host with the most, Chad the Maverick. So, today we're going to be talking about the new moon in Taurus. The new moon in Taurus is coming up this week. So, everybody get excited. The new moon is going to be a very strong time this week for a lot of abundance, a lot of manifestation work. So, if there's been anything that you've been trying to put into this world, there's been anything that you've been trying to manifest, this new moon in Taurus this week is going to be an excellent time for you to really put your foot in towards that and get the first initial steps towards making that larger growth happen, right? It's been Taurus season for the past X amount of days, right? The new moon is on the 11th, yes. But Taurus season is very much about having things grow, but these things take time to grow into what they're supposed to be, right? So these things don't automatically happen. Some manifestation time frames, you can manifest, it might pop up the next day, right? This Taurus season is going to be like a little bit slower as far as that's concerned. There are some aspects as well because Uranus is also going to be in Taurus, so there is going to be a little bit of a surprise factor to this as well. But overall and for the most part, Taurus season is meant for growth, right? Growing things, slow and steady wins the race type of deal. These are the aspects that Taurus season pretty much amplify, right? With that being said, Taurus is the main energy behind having things grow. It's very akin to Mother Nature itself, right? So the new moon is always a time frame for what? Manifestations. What do you want to bring in? What new beginnings do you want to bring into the fray, right? So if the new moon is going to be in Taurus, these two combinations combined, how are you going to grow the garden of your life into what you want it to be, right? Or what kind of garden do you want to grow that garden of your life into being, right? What are the things that you want to choose to take seriously to carry you into your next stages? What are the things that you want to take seriously to carry you into your next sense of power, right? This is a lot of what this Taurus season aspect is going to be talking about. So I'm going to be getting into the new moon in Taurus just a little bit as I explain this week, right? But if you want the full scoop on the new moon in Taurus, I have a class with House of Intuition. You click on the view online schedule on the front page. There's a class for the new moon in Taurus, and I'm going to be breaking down and detailing every part of this new moon in Taurus, how you can best manifest and use this abundance to your advantage, all based off of your zodiac signs, your sun, your moon, your rising, and I also pull cards for all of the signs in order for everyone to really get a clear understanding of what's going to be going on for the new moon in Taurus. So if you've been in my classes before, you know how we get down. If you haven't been in my classes before, perfectly okay. Please be sure to pull through. It's going to be happening on Tuesday. Most of my classes are on Mondays and Wednesdays, but this new moon is on the new moon's day. Therefore, it's going to be on Tuesday. But speaking of classes on Monday and Tuesday, I have classes that as well, right? So on Monday, we have the next class of Tarot 102. Feel free to jump in if you've never been to any of the other classes. It's perfectly okay. It's actually a really good class for you to start with because we're going to do the different types of tarot spreads, right? How can each different tarot spread bring a different result? How can you utilize these different kind of ways in order to read for people and such like that? So it's a good class to head into, even if you haven't started it. That's going to be on Monday. And on Wednesday, we're going to be breaking down Lilith, the archetype of Lilith into in depth, right? And I've been taking time out to restudy Lilith, re-investigate Lilith, just because I really want to make sure that this is a very strong thing. Because one, the sun's going to be on Lilith when I do this, but two, it's going to be very tied to the power of the divine feminine, and a lot of what the divine feminine hasn't been able to really tap into, or maybe have been exposed to them in a proper sense, I feel. So I wanted to kind of be able to help bring that in as well. The classes are on fire. Much love. I appreciate you for showing up. So please pull through to all the classes. They're going to be a great time. Am I glitching? I might be. I feel like every time I go live and start going off, or I'm getting ready to go off, there's some type of glitch or some type of error. I apologize for that if that is the case on your end, but this should be fine when it gets uploaded to IGTV. So if there is a glitch somewhere, there should at least be on IGTV, and that's fine. And if it's messed up there for any reason whatsoever, pull up to Chad the Maverick, which is going to be my thing, and that's going to be you'll be able to see it there as well. So if it is glitching right now, I apologize, but there will still be the recording after this as well if you need to go back to it. Where do you join the classes? The classes are going to be on the House of Intuition website. So go to houseofintuitionla.com, and the classes should be under view online schedule, and you should be able to see everything right there. So now that we've gotten that into the fray, it's glitchy on your phone, but perfect on your laptop. That's actually a really interesting thing. I don't know why. Like, it's clear on this end. So let's get into everything else as far as this week is concerned. So as far as what's coming up this week, right? What else is important besides the new moon in Taurus is that we have Venus going into Gemini, right? So Venus getting into Gemini, Venus is the planet of love, right? Venus is the planet of love. Venus is the planet of also like commerce, right? Connection, people, relationship, money as well, right? That's one thing that people don't understand about Venus either, right? It's about the attraction of money and such like that as well. But Venus is also going to be going into Gemini, right? So whereas Venus has just been in Taurus for the last X amount of time, things have been kind of slower, a little more serious. You might have been even diving in deeper and into like more stability in your relationships and everything along the lines of that. With Venus going into Gemini, it's like you're taking that stability portion, but you're also being able to like start to communicate with others, right? 1111 all across the board. 1111 is actually like a Gemini type of thing too, because it's two sides of the same thing. But regardless, Venus and Gemini, right, is like y'all basically getting into this position of communicating the things that you like, getting into the vibe of you communicating what it is that you really want to like speak to other people, right? There's a certain sense of truth that comes with the energy of Gemini, period, right? So when it comes to like Venus being in Gemini, this is going to be the case for that. Someone asked if you can purchase past classes. Unfortunately, there's not a system for purchasing past classes, so you have to sign up for the time frame specifically for that. But there should be some eventual solution for that as well. So unfortunately, you cannot purchase past classes currently, but we will be figuring something out along the lines of that very shortly. But outside of that, when it comes to the Venus and Gemini, right, this is you having this form of like communication and bridging in and having different connections with people that sometimes you may not even like have known. Hey, from Tanzania, what's up? All over the world, let's get it. But you having like these conversations that are going to be like making better solutions with people that have similar mindsets to you, right? Venus and Gemini is honestly a good time to like start up the conversation, start to like bring in different topics, start to like bring up different topics, asking for other people's opinions, just trying to hear what they say or where they may be coming from, right? This is also like a wordsmithy type of energy, right? So if you're an artist or if you're a creative, this is a good time to start writing. If you like do poetry, anything along the lines of that, great time to start diving into that as well. The reason why is because the strength of the words and the love of words is going to start to amplify, right? And so this love of words that begins to amplify has a lot to do with also your love language, right? So I feel like this Venus and Gemini before the new moon in Taurus even happens is all going to be like bridging in that type of communication. Very curious what the Venus and Gemini transit will bring. Heart is open. That is basically the key to the Venus and Gemini, honestly. Having your heart open enough to have other conversations with people that might actually be resonating at the same frequency as you. But you don't necessarily know unless you have that conversation. Or you don't necessarily know until you go out and speak your truth about something and someone else speaks their truth and you're like, oh wow, we're on the same page. Maybe we should link up and have this conversation. You get what I'm saying? Or maybe we should link up and do something with this topic. Venus and Gemini kind of like helps to bridge in different people and also bridge in different forms of collaboration as well, right? So Venus and Gemini is a time of collaboration. It's time for a little bit more fun, a little bit more like flash, flare, finesse, whatever the case that you want to bring when it comes to that. These are going to be the next things that are going to be coming in regards to having this new moon in these positions, right? Now, outside of that, I'm going to be mentioning how this works in the week, but I want to point out the most important key parts before we get into the week itself, because there are more shifts this week that I have to like actually point out to you and bullet point almost before we even like break down the in-betweens of everything, right? So when it comes to this, right, on a day of the new moon in Taurus, and this is why I highly advise you to honestly like come to the class specifically for the new moon in Taurus. The reason why is because Mercury is going to be on a north node, and Mercury It's about communicating. The North Node is the point of destiny within astrology, and we'll be seeing a lot of that. So please pay attention, follow me, make sure that you're paying attention to the astrology that I'm going to be outputting within the next few months, because this eclipse season and all this super moon, full moon, eclipses, solar eclipse, like lunar eclipse, like it's a lot of things that are going to be popping up. So please be sure to like check out anything that I'm like going to be putting out in the classes and such like that as well. We actually have a Mercury retrograde survival guide class. So if you want to be able to like see how to survive, not like you're going to be fine regardless, but the survival guide is pretty much going to basically be showing you what's happening and what energies are going to be most affecting you. You cannot control how eclipses are going to affect you. However, you can see where these eclipses are going to affect you and where they are going to impact you, right? So that's going to be something that's coming up for that as well. With that being said, the next thing that I have to say when it comes to this is that we're also going to have Jupiter going into Pisces towards the end of the week, right? So with Jupiter going into Pisces towards the end of the week, there's going to be a very strong time for people that are like very spiritual, people that are very tapped in and in tune with this form of spirituality. And the reason being is because with this happening, right? Jupiter is a planet of luck, expansion, growth, right? Everything about like the up and up, the abundance, opening things up, making things like grander, right? And this being on Pisces, Pisces is the most spiritual sign. It is the most spiritual sign, is the most connective and intuitive in a lot of regards because it is the final sign of the zodiac, right? So with Jupiter, which is that going into Pisces, which is also ruled by Jupiter, there is a lot more expansion and such like that, but it's going to have to do with the wisdom of your spirit. So for people that have been doing the work, you've been doing like the work as far as like what is truly resonant to your soul. You've been doing the spiritual work, you've been doing your meditations, you've been doing your whatever it is that like is creating this form of spirituality for you, right? This is going to be amplified and also pushing you forward with greater luck and blessings, right? Jupiter is a planet of blessings. Pisces is a planet of magic. It's like your experiences and your luck are going to be like pretty much combining with this magic as long as you're willing to accept it. Jupiter has been in Aquarius for the last X amount of time. So there's been a lot of growth as far as like communicating to the larger collective, a lot of luck as far as communicating to larger communities than you may be used to, right? This is just trying to show you this is your capacity and what you're actually able to output is like larger than your view, right? And Jupiter being in Pisces is trying to show you where it's like, okay, you've been able to see these different systems of how this thing's going. Now, how are you going to rely on your intuition to get you to that spot, right? So, let me see. So what does that mean for people who have their Venus in Gemini and their Sun in Taurus? Everything just amplified? Yep. So if you have energies in a certain sign and I'm mentioning it in this process, it's just amplified for you. So like even if you are a Taurus, this new moon in Taurus is going to be even more important for you to manifest on, right? If you have like those signs or if you have these energies that I'm talking about when I'm mentioning it to you, it's going to be twice as much. I was talking about Venus in, going into Gemini, right? So if you have Venus and Gemini in your chart, you're going through your Venus return. This Venus stuff that I was talking about goes 5 times as much for you. You get what I'm saying? Like this is how these energies end up working. I do my best to try to make this a collective view to get every single sign, like everyone in the collective, right? However, if you want to get the specifics for your zodiac sign, especially when it comes to this new moon in particular, please pull through to the class because I will be able to detail out to you what's going on. I'm breaking down the whole thing. Someone says I keep freezing and they're missing a lot. It's completely okay. This is going to still be up on the House Intuition page. If you can't find it on the House Intuition page, it'll also be on my page, Chad the Maverick. So please be sure to check out both because that's where you'll be able to find it just in case all this stuff is being weird. I don't know why technology's been so glitchy nowadays and such like that, but hey, it is what it is. We're all on it, aren't we? But outside of that, right? Speaking of technology, my laptop just died a second ago. So with that being said, I'm going to be basically like breaking down the transits as to like what's going on this week, and I'm going to be going in order. I don't have like every specific up, but I pretty much remember everything that was on there. So we're going to get into this right now and highlight a few things that's going to be coming up with this upcoming energy. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Outside of that, much love for y'all who've been showing up. Much love for y'all who've been like showing up to the classes and such like that as well. I want to like reach out and like bring that gratitude, especially for like the tarot 101, 102 classes and all the astrology like course series that I did. Appreciate all the love for that, and I appreciate y'all who are going to be signing up for the next ones as well. We've been having a lot of fun with those, so I just want to say thank you for that. But let's get into this week, right? So let's start off with today. So today we have the moon is in Aries, right? So technically, this is going to be the dark moon phase, right? So what happens on a dark moon phase? Oh, and by the way, I do not know how I forgot to say this. I've been going off in the astrology. I don't know how I forgot to say this. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. How did I forget? Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Happy Mother's Day to everybody who's going to, really bridging in that type of like energy and such like that. Much love to all the mothers out there for like doing the hard work, for making sure that like everybody gets taken care of and such like that. I do want to say that. I was like, oh, I'm about to get Sunday. I was like, what's happening on Sunday? I was like, oh, it's Mother's Day. So I just wanted to make sure to spread out my gratitude for y'all for doing everything that y'all do. Y'all have the hardest jobs, but y'all do it excellently. So shouts out to y'all. But getting into the next part. For this upcoming week, we have the moon in Aries. So the moon in Aries is in this balsamic, or the dark moon phase, right? And what's happening with the dark moon phase is that it's like it basically is the final wrap up before we get into a new area where we can truly manifest. So a lot of the themes that are coming up in this next day or two have a lot to do with like what's the final things for you to get through. And mind you, this dark moon phase is in Aries, so it's like what do you have to like fight through, not just within like within like the collective, like what do you have to fight in within yourself in order to bridge in better security, in order to bridge in better connectivity, right? So these are the things that keep popping up in regards to this. How are you going to take the time to be getting to the core of you, right? These are going to be the major themes that are going to be coming up in this regard, right? So with that being said, this is going to be making a very strong differential as to what you might have accepted prior as to what you're going to accept moving forward. And the reason why is because this is trying to like open up the floodgates, if you will, of like how are you going to bridge in your identity? How are you going to identify and push these things out? Is it going to be in alignment with your betterment and security? Is it going to be in alignment with how much you're worth, or is it not? People keep saying that there's terrible glitching. I appreciate the love, and I appreciate y'all keep jumping in too, because I see the count being weird and it's like it's going down, and I literally think it's because of this glitching. It's not my connection on my end. I don't know if it's the Instagram server. I'm not necessarily sure. But like I said, it's going to be saved. It's going to be up on the IGTV as well. So please be sure to put a like or a comment on that. And if you can't find it on the house page, it's going to be on my page at Chad the Maverick, all across the board on all social media, right? So getting into the next portion of this, right? This is going to be making, like I said, the last straw. Whatever's been the last straw is kind of going to start to like, cut itself through. And the reason why is because for the new moon in Taurus, you kind of have to like cut that in order to make sure that you are able to build in the seeds. So what I'm trying to get from this, what I'm trying to say is that it's like, when there's something that has been overgrown in the area, so you have to like dig it out, or let's say like there's like weeds in the garden, or there's like something that's like you have to get these like bad roots out and stuff like that. That's the way that you end up like taking those and moving them out of the way in those regards, right? So you have to like really take out what's been missing beforehand in order for you to plant in that area and make something new, right? So that's something that's going to be going in when it comes to this, right? Now, the next part of it is that we're going to be getting into the Taurus new moon, like I was mentioning beforehand, right? So the Taurus new moon, what's going to be happening with this is that we have Lilith going to be popping up there, and we also have the new moon. So it's Lilith on this new moon in Taurus, 21 degrees, if I'm not mistaken, off the top of my head. And what this is going to be about is that this is a master manifestation degree, right? And this master manifestation degree is going to be in technically a Sagittarius degree. So when it comes to this master manifestation, how are you seeing the larger vision of what it is that you want to create? How are you going to see the larger picture as to what it is that you want to actually make happen? This is your time frame to plant those seeds to make that thing go. It's not going to happen overnight. One day I have to continuously remind people for this new moon and Taurus energy. Some new moons, you manifest something, it's there, right? Some new moons, you manifest something, boom, it's coming up really soon. But this is going to be taking a little bit more time in order for everything else to kind of like pull up and pull through in that specific regard. So getting to this next portion, right? This is going to be getting into the next day after this new moon. We have Mercury making its conjunction to the North Node. Once more, very important on how you're going to speak your truth, right? How are you speaking your truth, and how is that going to be in accordance to this? Because the things that you say are going to stick with you. You get what I'm saying? So if you're saying something, wow, this is going to be like literally part of you getting that out into the universe. So if you take the time to like not say things that you actually want to like bring into the world, that's going to reflect back on what you're trying to build. So this is how this is going to be going on with everything that's happening. It's like you have to like say what's true, say what's real, because this is what's going to be helping bridge in greater format for destiny. You get where I'm coming from? So this phase of the moon right now in Aries, this is like fighting through. This is like fighting through, making sure things get out of the way. And then this is going to be the time frame where it's like, okay, say what you got to say. Please come through to the class on Tuesday. I'll be able to break down everything in its fullness and entirety. And that's what's going to be making a huge difference when it comes to everything, right? So, getting into after that. So Wednesday, we're going to be getting into Mercury conjunct, right? Then overall, so basically the moon's going to be going from Taurus to Gemini, right? So when the moon gets into Gemini, it's going to actually be going over the North Node as well. So the moon's going to be going through Gemini, going over the North Node. So that's why it's so important as to like what you say and what you speak out into the world is going to help cement itself due to these Taurian energies, due to everything along the lines of that. That's what's going to be that's what's going to end up like kind of solidifying and making that happen. Mercury is going to be on the North Node, right? So when Mercury hits the North Node, this is you speaking that truth. Then after Mercury hits the North Node, the moon passes by both of them, right? And Venus just went into Gemini. So mind you, all of this Gemini energy is really just like starting to like ramp up, all going into over this North Node such, right? And so that's why this is also the last new moon before we enter into eclipse season. And eclipse season is going to be absolutely wild. So please be sure to tune in with me, because like on the eclipse season is going to be very the eclipse season is going to be very like eye-opening for like a lot of people. And I think the reason why it's going to be so eye-opening is because it's really splitting and showing you like what isn't going to work and what also is going to work, right? So that's going to like really piece you as to how are you going to put your wisdom into the proper spaces. How are you going to put what you already know intuitively and be able to communicate that to those who will be able to take that and help make that keep moving. Someone said my hair looks cool. How do you make yours like that? Just let it grow and twist it. This is pretty much it. But regardless, right? This is pretty much how everything like this is going to be happening towards this week. So let me get into Jupiter and Pisces again, because like pretty much the week ends out with Gemini and then it goes into Cancer. The buffering is real. Apparently there's a lot of interference on this like actual live stream. I'm out here still kicking the truth and such like that. So I hope that y'all be able to see this in the playback. I'm going to be saving this video, posting that as well. So you'll be able to see this in the playback. But yeah, so outside of this, getting into this next section and this next segment of things, Jupiter and Pisces at the end of the week is going into Pisces for a little bit. So Jupiter and Pisces is going to be happening for a few months and then it goes back into Aquarius. So what's important about this, right? What's important about the Jupiter going into the next space is that can you keep the strength of your spirit? Can you keep the strength of your power and actually make that into something that you want to create, right? Because Jupiter in Pisces wants to take your vision and send it out into the universe, right? It wants to take your vision and send it out into the outer realms to make it happen, right? So when you send it out to make it happen, this is what's going to be, it's going to basically like be like a push and pull, right? So you send it out into the world to make it happen. Jupiter will eventually go back into Aquarius and we'll be back into the same format of how are we going to connect with people again, right? So Jupiter in Pisces is you having that magic and pushing that out, right? And this whole time frame as things were trying to like build up has been about how are you connecting to the larger picture. With it going into Pisces, all the magic gets to happen. And all the magic you get to push out in Jupiter and Pisces, when it goes back into Aquarius, you're going to then connect with people even stronger and better that connect with your purpose based off the magic that you were able to push out during Jupiter and Pisces. So that's the way that ends up working with that. Let me see. This is feeling so important. A bit frustrating to feel like there's a break in the connection. Yeah, so amazing info keeps rolling forward. Word. So like basically that's pretty much like the info when it comes to this, right? This is basically making a brand new, like honestly, like adventure as far as how are you going to make and take these steps to legitimately grow. How are you taking these steps to like legitimately make this next thing? Which is, once more, this Taurus new moon will launch all that off for you. So if you do what you need to do during this new moon in Taurus energy, by the time Jupiter gets in the Pisces and all these other shifts start to happen, you're already set. You already put it out. You get where I'm coming from? So that's why I'm like, yo, pull up to the new moon class, because then you get the scoop on on what's going to be happening specifically for you based off of your energy, right? And then you can take whatever comes through from that and then make that thing happen. Manifest that thing, have it really roll through, and then become that. Mind you, this is going to be right before eclipse season starts. So this is the last real time that you can like make a true manifestation before the universe starts to kind of like take over, because that's what happens during eclipse seasons. Like people think that during eclipse seasons you're like, yo, I need to like make this happen, but in reality when it comes to eclipse seasons, things just like make new shifts according to your spirit, according to what the universe wants for you. So this is like a time frame where it's like, let's take stock and what do you want to bring out, take stock as to like what do you want to push out, and then do so in that process. So this is pretty much going to be the overall thing of the week. I know normally I'll put the aspects and I'll talk about like the specifics, like Mercury square Saturn. I did not have that up with me in this process, but I was like, hey, I'm still in astrology. Let's break it down regardless. Like, because the whole idea behind like this like info is that it's like, this is going to like make sure that you're able to take this week and put it in stride, right? Because there's a lot of different energies. Some energies are shifting in that want you to like speed up on what you're doing. And there's energies that have been staying here that want you to slow down. So there might be like this tug and pull between, should I slow down or should I keep going with this? Should I keep going with this or should I take it back for a bit, right? These are going to be like the energies that are going to kind of pop off during this week. But I appreciate you all for like coming in and showing up for this Astrology Saturday. This Taurus new moon is going to be an excellent time once more for manifestation and bridging into actual reality in the life that you want. I appreciate y'all for sticking through with me. I know that there's been glitches and whatever else is going on and whatever have you, but hey, that's how things go sometimes, which is completely okay. But I hope that you're still able to catch it on IGTV, right? Because it will be there. So check it out on IGTV after this live stream is over. If there has been any glitches or anything along the lines of that. And if you can't find it there, you can find it at Chad the Maverick on Instagram and other social media platforms as well. So you can check that out. So appreciate you all for showing up once again. I have 3 classes this week: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Monday is the tarot class, Tuesday is the new moon, and Wednesday is going to be Lilith. So I appreciate you all for showing up, and I can't wait to see y'all there. Outside of that, thank you so much for showing up. I appreciate all the love that you have been showing, and until next time, y'all have a great one. Peace.